Richard, welcome to the Leanpub launch video for Human Software, A Life in IT, a novel. I was wondering if you could take a moment just to talk to us a little bit about your book and what it's about.
Sure, Ben. I'd love to. Yeah, and thanks for having me on. It's a real honor to be here. Um, so Human Software, it's a book which I felt I had to write really after working in IT for a very long time, and being interested in the human side, the connection side of IT and software engineering in particular. And over the last few years, there's been a lot of talk around socio-technical kind of architecture and engineering, and how you build the kind of structure of the software to match your the organizational structure, like Conway's law,
Hmm.
things like that. Really cool subjects. Um, and I kind of got involved with that kind of discussion. Team topologies, particularly example, which brings all those subjects together very nicely. And I felt I wanted to contribute something to the oeuvre, I guess you could call it. And after reading great books like the Phoenix Project and the Unicorn Project as well, where they really kind of go into a fictional company and understand how business problems can be solved through working together and all that kind of thing, I thought, well, you know what, we can get a bit deeper. And that's what human software is really about. It's kind of a mixture between the Unicorn Project, I guess, and I like to think of Local Hero, the film, the 80s film, where the big global company comes to a small Scottish town and kind of basically um, screws them over a little bit, really. So there's a bit of that, basically. So it's a corporate thriller, essentially.
Yeah,
Um,
and it's set
but
in a really interesting location. I was wondering if you could talk about that.
yeah, sure. So it's set in the southeast of the UK, in a place that I'm from originally. I grew up in a small town called Sandwich, and that's just near Dover, where the ferries go across to France. Um, but I've kind of reimagined it slightly. So around that part of the world, there used to be a channel called the Wanzam Channel, which separated an island from the mainland, and I've imagined that is actually there now. So you've got a nice map in the front of the book showing this. And the reason I did that is because I wanted to have a major port around the Sandwich area, which would be just a device I would use in the book. So it was just a tweak that I did basically, but it's a fun thing.
And the book is inspired in part by the kind of like, explosion of interest and perhaps more than that in AI.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, so tied to that, of course, is the use of the the computing power, the data centers that are required. So because of the landscape around there, because I know it intimately from growing up around there, there used to be like a power station there. There's plenty of room for expansion. I thought, well, why not throw in some data centers, some wind turbines? We'll have some fun with AI as well. So essentially, it's a story of two women, one an engineer, and one a executive, coming together, and the executive sent there to to do a corporate downsizing, essentially. So to get rid of a lot of the local people, to replace them with data centers, with consultancies, and potentially with AI as well. So I do touch on a few themes. Basically, it's my first novel, so I've thrown everything in it.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny you say that. We were talking a little bit before recording about it being your first novel, and it's our, in a sense, our first novel on the Leanpub launch videos. So I'm kind of
Wow.
excited about that. That's really great. And I was wondering if you, just before you go, if you could maybe share one or two of the many awesome blurbs you have for the book.
Yeah, so I've been lucky enough to have some great reviewers who've kind of come through for me. And obviously I've had to pest them quite a lot, but I had a great one from Charles Humble, who's a tech journalist and a tech consultant from his company Connaissance, if I pronounce it properly. But his quote appears on the cover of the paperback version of the book. But his blurb goes along the lines of, "It's a proper page turner. It's part thriller, part whodunit, and a fine dystopian parable." Um, Slightly reminiscent of Robert Harris's The Fear Factor, it makes some serious points about generative AI, globalisation, and the dehumanisation of work.
I'll say too. Just add my own. It has a great first line. And if you wanna know what the first line is, you have to buy the book. But I really loved it from the beginning. Richard, the book is Human Software, A Life in IT, a novel. Thank you very much for taking the time today to talk to me and to talk to all of us about your great new novel. And I wish you all the best of luck finding a big audience.
Thanks so much, Len. Really good talking to you.